Welcome everyone. In this video we're going to be going over configuring authentication with OSPF. The first thing we're going to do is go over the most basic type, which is clear text authentication, which obviously you should never do in production, but we need to know it for Cisco exams, so let's learn how to configure it. I'm going to configure the link between R2 and R1, which right now do have a neighbor relationship. So show IP OSPF neighbor. We could see we are neighbors with R1 from R2. And let's go ahead and we're going to configure it just on the link from R2's perspective. So we'll go link 112. We have to turn authentication on. And then we do authentication key. And let's just do the key of Cisco. So now we should see that our neighbor dropped. Show IP OSPF neighbor. And, well, we could see the dead time is 11 seconds, 9 seconds. We're getting down there. It's going to drop. 2, 0, and dropped. Okay. So authentication is on one side. It's not on the other side. The neighbor drops. That's what we wanted. From R1's perspective, we're going to do things a little bit differently. We're going to go into the OSPF process and turn it on for the whole area. Now, what this does is this tells R1 that any links that are in area 0, you have to turn on authentication for them. Now, it's a two-step process just like R1. And by two-step, I mean it is 2 commands. You have to turn on authentication and then do the key. So even though we turn on authentication here, we still have to actually go to the interface and do IP OSPF authentication key, and we're going to do Cisco. Now, we could take a look at show IP OSPF neighbors, and the neighbor's back up. Show IP OSPF neighbor detail. And in the area 0, okay. So you can see there's nothing in the show IP OSPF neighbor detail command. What we actually have to do is first we have to do show IP OSPF, and you can go down to the area, and I can see we have the area has simple password authentication, which again is clear text. Now on R2 it'll be different, because if we do show IP OSPF on R2, we can see area has no authentication. That's because we just configured it on R2 on the link. So on R2, you can see it by doing show IP OSPF interface gig 112 and simple password authentication enabled. So a good way to tell how it was configured. So now what we're going to do is let's move over to the next type of authentication, which is going to be MD5 authentication. So what we'll do is, let's trash that. What we'll do is we'll leave that clear text authentication on there. And on this link here between R3, R2, and R4, we'll configure MD5. And on R2, we'll go ahead and just enable it on the interface. R3 and R4, I'll enable it for the area. So we're on R2 now. Conf-D, Yankee 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, we have to go through the same exact steps we did before, show IP OSPF authentication, but this time we're doing message digest. So we're turning it on, we're just adding that message digest. Then, what we'll do is the OSPF, we won't use the authentication key command anymore. Instead, we'll use the message digest key. So message digest key, it's 1, MD5, and for password, I'll just call it Cisco here. Okay. So let's head over to R3. And again, for R3, we're going to do it on the area. So area 0, authentication, message digest. Interface gig 1, 2, 3, 4. IP OSPF message digest key 1. MD5, Cisco. From our force perspective, actually from R4, because I have links in other links in area 0, I'm going to do the interface here as well. Gig 1, 2, 3, 4. IP OSPF authentication message digest. IP OSPF message digest key 1 MD5 Cisco. So let's head over to R3 and show IP OSPF neighbor. So we can see 2 and 4 are up. And again, we can do show IP OSPF. And now here we could see area has message digest authentication. And if we do the show IP OSPF interface gig 1, 2, 3, 4, cryptographic authentication enabled, youngest key ID is 1. So that's how we do MD5 authentication with a single key. Now, let's see what happens if we do multiple keys with our authentication. And I think I'll just keep the same link here, MD5. And what we'll do is we'll stay on R3. Why not? Let's add another key here. So let's just do a show run interface gig 1, 2, 3, 4 so we can see what we have. And let's go conf t int gig 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's add a key number 2. Message digest key 2, MD5 2. Let's see what happens with our adjacencies. They're still up. Oh, okay. Dead time went back up to 40. So we're still good. Let's head over to R4. And what we'll do on R4 is we'll get rid of this command. And instead we'll do show IP OSPF. I don't know why I keep saying show. Message digest 2 MD5 2. So let's show run int gig 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we could see we have a different MD5 key here. And if we go back to R3, take a look at the neighbors, we're working fine. So this is a cool little feature where we, on R3, and let's go again to show run int gig 1, 2, 3, 4, we have 2 different keys for 2 different neighbors off the same link. And it works. If we did show IP OSPF int gig 1, 2, 3, 4, one neighbors is still using the old key. Key out, key 1. Youngest key is 2. So this is kind of, obviously you could tell it's meant for rollover, but it will still work where both keys can use the same one. So if you're trying to change your MD5 keys on all your OSPF neighbors, you can do a rollover by just adding a second key to the interface. All right, so I think the last one we'll do is let's do a SHA authentication. So let's do here on this link between R6 and R7. And let's take a look at what SHA authentication looks like. So conf t. With SHA, it's a little bit different. With SHA, you actually have to configure a keychain similar to what we do in EIGRP. So with keychain, key 1, cryptographic algorithm. I'm sorry. Oh, we could do that. I just wanted to do a key. Just wanted to call the key string something first. Key string Cisco will stay the same. And we'll do the cryptographic algorithm, and we'll take a look at what we have. We have HMAC SHA-1, HMAC SHA-256, etc. Let's just do HMAC SHA-256. Okay. Now let's go into the interface and IP OSPF authentication. And now we can see we have a keychain option. Keychain, and our keychain was called OSPF. And that's it. So in this case, it's only one command under the interface. And we can see that if we do show IP OSPF interface gig 1. I don't know why I did 79. Because that's not an interface that exists. So it's actually 67. And we'll do that. Okay. Show IP OSPF 167. And now we can see here, cryptographic authentication enabled, sending key 1 with HMAC SHA-256. Keychain is called OSPF. Cool. So that's how we enable it on the link there. Can we do it in the area? Let's find out. Let's go to conft on 7, router OSPF 1. And I believe, let me just show IP OSPF interface brief. I think we only have one. Yeah, it's area 47. So let's do area 40. We have to configure our keychain first. So keychain OSPF, key 1, key string Cisco, cryptographic algorithm HMAC SHA-256. All right, router OSPF 1. Area 47 authentication. Let's see if we have the keychain option. We don't. So when you're doing the cryptographic algorithms with OSPF authentication, you have to do it from the interface, which honestly is fine because even in the other ways you had to go into the interface, even if you were doing it from the area. We saw that on R1 and R3. We enabled OSPF authentication for the area, but still had to go down to the interface to do another command. So in this case, we don't have to go into OSPF process. Instead, we go into gig 167 and do the same thing we did on router 6. IP OSPF authentication keychain OSPF. OSPF neighbors, and our neighbor is up. So in this video, we saw a few different types of OSPF authentication. Specifically, we went over clear text, MD5, and the HMAC SHA. And we also saw between routers 2, 3, and 4 how to do key rollover. So thanks for watching, and hope to see you on the next one.